Hello and welcome to Patched. I'm your host Paul James. Today I'm joined by Matto Phillips. How's things, mate?
I'm a spaceman.
You're a spaceman. We've all been
I'm a
space.
spaceman.
We've all been going off to space recently. Starfield. It's out. It's out now for everyone on Game Pass as well. So I guess the door's been cracked open and it's allowed a lot of commentary to kind of. I mean, look. I guess good, bad, or otherwise, there's been a lot said about Starfield in the last week and a half or so, and especially now that the game's out for everyone. But there's been a bit of negativity as well as some of the positivity. And, well, we're going to focus on the negativity for today, I guess, for the most part. There's a few different aspects of it, from user reviews to social media interactions to a whole bunch of different things. You floated this as a potential topic even last week when we kind of went for two different topics at the time. What were you thinking then? And I guess how's it kind of changed now?
I would say nothing's changed because it's probably your standard people that are review bombing it, which we all know are the ones that don't get to play it, which are the PS5,
opposite platform.
Sony pony phony Donies. I couldn't remember.
Yeah, it was trailing away there, but it's all right.
But you could already see it was going to happen because it was going to come to PS5. Then Xbox said we'll buy it for 70 or how many $1 billion it was. I can't remember now. It was a small amount compared to Activision.
What did they?
Like 7 or 8? 8.
Yeah, it was like 8 billion, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a small amount of change for Microsoft, and then they got upset. Then laughed and said, "Ha, we got Ghostwire Tokyo and Deathloop," and then they went to Xbox. So, well, except for Ghostwire Tokyo, but
no, Ghostwire's there too now.
That's there. Okay.
Yeah, both games. It was basically a year to the day from their original launch date that they then popped up on Game Pass. But then they also went free via PlayStation Plus at the same time. So, I think it was like, okay, well, if they're going to, like on PlayStation side, it was kind of a case of, well, if it's going to go to Game Pass, then we may as well give it to everyone for free because we're not going to make the money out of this that we used to. And deal done.
And then we'll put it up $40 and no one's going to complain.
Well, yeah, no one is ever going to. Yeah, well, we've gone there when it comes to price, so we'll save that for. Well, no, we've been there and done that. We'll see if things change. We'll see how we go. So yeah, your perspective hasn't really changed. I guess it's kind of the usual suspects in a lot of different ways. Maybe we start with the online discussion through whether it's social media and user. Actually, we'll start with kind of user reviews and then go from there. So I guess what have you been seeing when it comes to user reviews? What do you?
I had a light look. I didn't really want to dig in too much because I'll just look at it and get angry, and you start to find the patterns.
It's the same shit each time.
Same shit. Like one person, don't know his name, don't care, complained it wasn't on PS5. That right there is the number one problem. Then it's just like saying, oh, the graphics is stuff, rubbish. It only runs in 30 frames a second. Oh, this piece of bread is not a piece of bread. And it's just trying to find small things, like for instance, a puddle in another
puddle
game, a puddle gate. People complain about a puddle, and these people just complain about the small things, and keep forgetting that one thing Bethesda finally got right: shooting. And no one
it's very true.
No one's talking about that because no,
we've got to focus on all the other shit.
Yes, all the other pointless stuff that's unnecessary that I find that I don't pay absolute zero attention until I look at some dickhead's review and they're like, oh, but this is wrong and this is wrong. Oh, this is not space. Or people get upset because the space travel thing's misleading and all this stuff.
And it's fine to be upset if certain things aren't the way you want them to be. But yeah, the way like people find that one thing and boom, 0 out of 10, 1 out of 10, whatever it is on Steam or on Metacritic or whatever the case happens to be, or even just the way they kind of translate it across to forums or social media or whatever the case happens to be. It's just you can't, and I guess it's a little bit like professional reviews too. Like you can't. There's no middle ground anymore. You either have to love something or you have to hate something. Or a game and if you're kind of on the fence about it, it's like a 7 out of 10 still.
But it's also the fact too that the Metacritic score for Starfield, roughly, I'm going off Xbox, I'm going off console, was 85.
It's
for some reason, people think that's a failure because it's not a 90 out of 100 game.
No, but what it
90 out
is
of
an
100
opportunity for those PlayStation fanboys, and I mean, we know this. Like, I am absolutely, obviously, a crazy PlayStation fan, and I love almost everything that they've done over the recent years. Doesn't mean I don't love my Xbox as well, but those are the kind of the obnoxious, dumbass ones are going to look at that and go, all right, so about the only game that with an 85, the only game of ours that Starfield's apparently better than, if you just base it on a number, is like Days Gone.
Wait,
You've got more than that, though.
I did the research on this as well. Okay, so Starfield, 85. Then, because everyone thinks, oh, PlayStation 5 games are all over 90 plus. Wrong. We'll go with Horizon Forbidden West. That got
89.
an 88.
Oh, 88 now.
88. So it's only 3 better than Starfield. 3 points. Spider-Man Miles Morales, 85. So that's on par with Starfield. But no. Everyone says, oh, it's a good game. It is a good game. There's nothing wrong with it. Just because it's not as good as, well, I don't know the Spider-Man
I think it's absolutely better than the original. But like, that's a subjective thing. They're both awesome.
Yeah, I found it exciting. If you said to me that got an 85, I'd probably say,
yeah,
I would give it higher, or that's about right, give or take. Doesn't matter. God of War Ragnarok, 94, and there's understand why that's a 94. There's a
giant hammer that's really cool.
Yes, but the game itself, brilliant. Even I can't fault it. The only way I could fault it is outside the story, it's pretty boring. But that's really it. Story-wise, music-wise, combat-wise, boy-wise, character-wise, brilliant.
Sufficient use of boy.
Absolutely brilliant. That is. Then we go to the other piece. Yep, we'll get to that.
Oh, okay.
Then I've got these all games.
Sorry, you've got this planned out. I'll get out of your way. I'll get right out of your way.
No. But these are all the ones that have come out on the PS5 from PlayStation Studios.
Oh, there's Ratchet.
Not Final Fantasy 16 because that is from a third party, so that can stay off. So that's not in here. So we got Destruction All Stars.
Oh, that wasn't first party, but okay, yeah, sure.
62, but hey, they advertised on their PlayStation Studios.
Yes, they did.
So,
yeah.
Hey, I go by that. 62, but no one talks about that because, well,
why would you?
Yeah. Gran Turismo 7, 87. But going on score reviews, like the dickhead people, it's a lot worse. It's like,
well, to be fair, there was a lot of there was some dodgy stuff that kind of went on around that one. So, like, I mean, Jen did the review for us, and she gave it an A, which ends up equating to 100 on Metacritic, and she was in love with the whole thing. But there was a lot of the microtransactions and all that sort of stuff that weren't turned on until after the reviews had gone out, like until launch day, and so they kind of played the game with reviewers there and took advantage of the situation, took advantage of their review embargo, and then when the game came out, and then by the time everyone else had gone and picked it up because it's getting all these amazing scores, they realised they were getting nickel and dimed everywhere. So I kind of understand how there'd be a bit of a negative backlash for that. There's other games that have copped the same sort of thing over the years too.
That's fair enough. And then we got Ratchet and Clank, as you said, Rift Apart, an 88. Still, That's a good game. Yes, it's not 90, gave you, whatever, doesn't matter. Good game.
It's pretty hard to crack a 90, to be fair. And that's I think, one of the key things here too.
Then we got The Last of Us Part 1, which got an 88, which is 6 less than the original Last of Us, which got a 94. So that's what I call a disimprovement, but no one complains about that.
No one, it's a weird one, that one. Like, I think we all know where the criticisms of that came from, and it's perhaps the need PC for it in the first place. Well, no, but like the PC still got its own skew.
Oh, you know what it was.
A lot of it's
there was the love story in the TV show that people got upset about and then decided to.
Well, TV show wasn't even out at that point. It was what you and I were complaining about beforehand, which was like, why do we have this? Why does this exist? Like, it's not necessary. The PS3 and even PS4 remaster is still good enough.
And extra polygons and lighting. That's all it comes down to.
And then the PC version went to shit. But I'd be curious to know what that Metascore is at the moment, actually. But we'll save that for later.
Finally, the last one, Returnal, which I'm surprised by, got an 88. Which I was surprised by because I thought it was a lot, to me, lower, but not that much. But I thought an 88, so it got a better score than Spider-Man. Which
The Last of Us Part 1 is on a 59 for PC.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And then if you want to go further, just 2 PS4 games, like you said, Days Gone, 71, The Order, 1886, which people do talk about, thinking, oh, it's a great game, this, that.
I love it.
Got a 63 for many reasons. Yes, it could have been a great game if they got the gameplay to cutscene ratio correct.
Well, yeah.
Which they did. They got that way off. But then you go on to the Bethesda side this year. Starfield, 85, as we said. Redfall, yes, we know, 56, which is unfortunate. But then there's also Hi-Fi Rush, which no one talks about. Got an 89, but no one talks about that.
Yeah, one of the best games of the year.
And yet the old shadow drop it all, and no one talks about it because you know why? It wasn't on PS5, and no one cared.
Yeah, there's certainly and it's an interesting one. I guess I mean, you've segued pretty well into kind of the actual kind of legit review side of things, and not sorry to discredit anyone who drops a user review and actually does it properly.
Come on, there was that one guy who rated Gotham Knights as better than Elden Ring. I'm pretty sure that was an actual reviewer, though. Actually, no, that was not a user reviewer. That was a
legit reviewer.
That was a legit reviewer, and I don't know if they still exist, but still, I laughed at that. I thought, you dickhead.
Yeah, and so I guess it segues across. So when it comes to Starfield and focusing on the Xbox version, the PC version sitting on an 87 on Metacritic, but the Xbox version has kind of been brought down by. Well, initially it was about 2 reviews in particular, and that was kind of IGN and GameSpot actually, who both gave it a 7. And then today, Jim Sterling has popped up. The Jim Acquisition gave it a 4, which has dropped it from I think the 86, 87 that was on down to its current standing of 85. So like you get a few outliers that pull things down, but certainly like one of the fascinating things that's kind of come up, and it's a whole thing about outlets, I guess, that write reviews, and perhaps the way people should or shouldn't consume content these days is IGN, GameSpot, they've got so many different writers. For people to sit back afterwards and go, oh, but you gave Atlas Fallen a this, or you get games that I think most people would recognise are probably lesser than Starfield in terms of their quality, regardless of the fact they're different genres and all that sort of stuff. Like they're just the all-around package. They are lesser games. But you gave Atlas Fallen a 7.5, but you gave Starfield a 7. How can anyone do that? Blah blah blah. Xbox bias. Sorry, the PlayStation ponies, all that sort of stuff. And the thing that I think often gets lost is that, especially with these really big outlets, the chances that the person who reviewed that game that you're pulling as an example to criticize their review of Starfield probably wasn't the same person. But because it's all listed as GameSpot or all listed as IGN, you get this hate directed towards the outlet, and then likely the reviewer who actually wrote the review of Starfield or whatever. I've read through the Starfield review. I've heard heard from a lot of people who played the game in full and played it for like pre-launch, who then went and read the reviews of Starfield from IGN and GameSpot and those sort of things. And most people would agree with the criticisms that were made. They just perhaps weren't as bothered by those things as those particular reviewers. So the whole thing is a little bit weird, and it really links to, I think, the thing that people are gradually starting to cotton onto, and hopefully it serves us well at Player 2. Go find smaller outlets. Go find YouTubers that you like, whatever the case happens to be, because those people, firstly, there's a far greater chance that the person who writes the review of a game that you like and perhaps has a similar sort of view to yourself is going to have a greater chance of reviewing another upcoming game that you're also keen on, because they share similar tastes and they're a smaller team, and so there's more placed upon those people's shoulders, etc., etc. I mean, the number of games that I review this year probably going to be greater than most people at an IGN or a GameSpot or something like that, due to the nature of the team.
Yeah, but you also got to remember, IGN also hired someone who, let's be honest, never really played the game, and stole it from a smaller company reviewer. And
the Philip Newson thing is obviously a tricky scenario. I think that they probably still pay the price for a little bit from time to time, even based on the fact that you're bringing it up as an example there. But also to that point, it would be hard for them to keep track of everything their reviewers are doing, because they've got so many of them at any given time. Dan Stapleton was the one who did the review for IGN, who is literally IGN's reviews editor. Like, any review that comes through IGN and gets published has to go through him, and he was the one that did the Starfield review. So, like, there's no
one to blame but himself, pretty much.
Yeah, exactly. There's no one. Yeah, like, if you've got an issue, you take it up with Dan, but he's the one that, like, is across all of these things, and I'm sure is kind of equating in his head, well, okay, such and such has been considered this, such and such been considered that, but at the end of the day, he's got to go with his own opinion. So yeah, it's a weird sort of thing that when people kind of turn on some of these really big outlets. Not that I'm saying, okay, if I write a review of a game that someone doesn't like, that you should come after me, because also you're just a dick if you do it. But at least, like, if you will start to connect to certain people or certain outlets based on the reviewers they've got, or the individual that it is, because like they cover far more, or they cover everything in some cases. Which also, like, for those YouTubers who are basically doing everything, you're insane. But I guess you've built your platform big enough that you can actually do it. That's, professional. Good on you. Just show me how you do it. So yeah, it's a weird sort of circumstance there. And then I guess we were discussing this pre-show, but ultimately, if we cast our eyes forward a little bit, the reverse of all this is coming up. Like, we know Spider-Man is close, and that's the next big exclusive game. I mean, I guess. Getting my timeline right. I guess Mario Wonder comes out the same day. There might be some Nintendo stuff in the middle, but Nintendo's pretty immune to this stuff for the most part. They're kind of the little red-headed kid on the side that no one cares about. But
no soul whatsoever.
Emphasis on the red, because Nintendo red ginger. Anyway, Mario, yeah. But obviously Spider-Man is the next one coming down the pipe in terms of like big exclusive titles, and I'm sure the Xbox fans who are all enraged at the moment at the behavior of PlayStation fanboys and the way they're doing it are going to do the exact same thing when Spider-Man comes along. They'll find that one thing, Puddlegate 2.0, whatever it happens to be.
This web's too big, blah blah blah.
One tiny little glitch that impacts nothing, but is something to to sink the boots in. Like, it's going to happen all over again. It's just, I think what we're hitting on here through a bunch of different lenses is just all of it's pathetic. Just go off and enjoy video games. Doesn't matter whether you're a PlayStation person, Xbox person, PC. Look, PC people suck, but Nintendo. I couldn't get through the whole thing with a straight face.
PC people, you all suck.
Or a Nintendo person, or anything else. If you want to be a mobile gamer, go for your life. Like, whatever makes you happy at the end of the day. And if the games work for you, well, even better. So, it's people are shit. I think that's really kind of where we're at on this. People suck, and like there's no room for a proper conversation or discourse anymore.
I just feel like people have nothing better to do than just go on and go, right, I don't like this game. 2.5 stars. It's not an Uber drive. You just relax.
But some cases they don't even like. It's not that they don't like the game. They don't like that it exists. Like, no, I don't want this, or I can't have it.
Yes, that was the thing I was thinking of. Like, oh, I can't play it, so it's bad. Or no, just buy the other console, you fool.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, like, oh, I don't want to. Like, most people buy a PS5 just to play God of War. I did, to be honest.
You did, yeah, 100% you did.
I did, because I was dumb enough to purchase a collector's edition pack off someone else, when at the time didn't have a PS5, which was a stupid idea at the time, but did get one.
It didn't even twig right away, but also you could have played it on PS4 still. The code worked for PS4, so
yeah, it could have.
But you needed the best experience, so you did.
You need the best optimization for the game, and that's what I did. I can't go back.
No one here is going to judge you for that.
Can't go back to a PS4. You just go back and look at the graphics and go, "This sucks."
It's just not what
you look at it and go, "Wow."
It's the old Homer Simpson barbecue one. Like, you're looking online, you're seeing God of War Ragnarok on the PS5 and how it's looking and performing for all the PS5 players, and then you look at your PS4 Pro version and go, "Why doesn't mine look like that?" So
that's a fine looking hammer.
So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. And who knows, things could get even more complicated if, like, all these reports about Nintendo showing off their Switch 2 console at Gamescom are true. Then we've got the new console on the way next year, and that adds another variable into the mix, because who knows where this thing could stand power-wise. So all of a sudden you've got people really starting to jostle, because maybe Nintendo isn't as far off the pace as they have been previously with their console. So it's a really interesting one to see. But also, I just enjoy games. Stop being dickheads.
Yes. Just play games. Get off the internet. Or I can't say get off the internet, because you probably need the internet to play the game. So
yeah, take 20 hours to download
Stop looking at reviews. Just, if you're a fan of the game, just play it.
Speaking of being on the internet for games, your old mate, NBA 2K.
What about it?
I got sent a code for NBA 2K24 this week.
Ooh.
150 gigabytes.
How? I don't
I
understand.
don't get it.
It's the exact same court, the exact same players it has been for like the last 7 years. How the hell does it
And no
come
offense to 2K.
130?
No offense to 2K who've sent me the code so far, but I haven't redeemed it because I look at that number and then I look at my PS5, which has an additional 2 terabytes. Like I've put an extra SSD in it. I look at that game and the amount of space it needs to take up, and then I look at my memory and all of the games I will need to delete to make that happen. And
It's
it's
not the same size as
completely broken and intimidated me. Like I can't do it.
I don't understand. How big is the world? How big is the court? Like Horizon was what? About 100 as well? Close to 100?
Yeah, this is 150, and yet you're playing on a bunch of basketball courts.
A game's huge. Like what? You're gonna have like 40 players on the same court at once. Like, I don't get it.
Finally, the crowd is going to look like a real crowd.
They're just not gonna do the same animation of the 40,000 people all clapping or just standing up for no reason whatsoever, or just
Yeah,
walking
you see a
out.
lot of them, they just stand up and then they sit down after a few seconds and then they
For
stand
no
up
reason
and they sit down.
whatsoever.
Like, okay, cool. Not going to
It's
spot
gonna
that
be
you're standing up and doing nothing. But anyway,
130 gig of just poor
150,
animation.
150,
150.
150.
I don't understand it. For a sports game as well, it makes no sense.
I don't. I
Say
just
how
don't
long's
get it.
how long's a game going to take to load? That's the second thing.
Well, it probably won't. It'll just be snap of a finger because just there's so much data crammed onto this thing. But anyway, we'll see. I don't. It's crazy. But that's an aside. But I thought a worthwhile thing to just mention in that context. And 2K, I promise I will redeem the game and I will review the game. But right now, it was a launch day code, so I'm in no rush to do so. And it's a bit of an intimidating thing with that size.
The bit about NBA 2K as it is, that's $1 a gigabyte, as I look at it.
Oh shit, yeah, it basically is. I look, I think to their credit, I think they sent me, and I'd have to double check it. I'm pretty sure they sent me the top level digital edition.
Oh, so about 200 then.
So yeah, it might be something like that this time. So like I haven't been dudded in the whole thing. Let me double check. NBA 2K24. That's right. It's
edition.
Kobe, so it's the Mamba edition's $160.
Whoa. Still. Why? The same game every year. The same anger. Like this shooting is shit and this and that and whatever. I'm so glad I don't play 2K games anymore. I'm so happy.
Yeah, I mean, look, I appreciate like when I've copped the NBA games for the last couple of years, and like they'll send me the equivalent version, like this year it's the Black Mamba edition, whatever it happens to be on any given year, and they send me that one I think because it gets like you get a bit of VC with it, and so that kind of get like you can commit a little bit of spending to it without actually spending any of my own money, and that can kind of help me to suss out what's going on with how the monetization's working, and I can comment on that properly. But then once that well is run dry, I'm not committing any more money to it because it's just a disgusting slippery slope, as well historically is. I won't speak to 24, but historically it is.
Spin the wheel.
So we'll see what comes of it. But yeah, otherwise it's basketball every year, and they don't make it easy enough for me to create a super team. Like just let's go back to like the real early NBA games where you could just suddenly put Jordan, Shaq, Kobe, everyone all on, Kevin Garnett all on the same team. Why can't we have Steph Curry, LeBron James, Giannis? We'll just we'll pop Jokic in as center because why not at this point? And who's gonna be my fifth here? Fuck Kevin Durant, he's no good, despite what everyone says.
Peyton.
Buckets. Let's get Jimmy Buckets.
Jimmy.
Because I have a bit of a man crush on Jimmy Butler, but yeah, it's anyway. I don't even know how I got to NBA 2K now at this point, but yeah, 150 gig, big data packet. Don't like it. Any other thoughts though on all things fanboyism and Starfield treatment and?
I hate the ball. I don't care. Just go hide in a hole or go back under a rock where you belong.
You'll be happier for it. Just go and play your games.
So tell everyone else too.
Get excited
That's the
about the games
focus.
you want, and then go play the games. Stop wasting your time talking about them. Go play them. We say that as we're sitting here talking about video games, but
And here we are. We both don't agree that the shitty Witcher is the best Zelda game. We both highly disagree with that. And
but we haven't bombed Metacritic. All
We
two of
haven't
us.
bombed it. We just say we just don't like it. We're just not fans of it. We don't hate it, but we just don't think it is as good as,
I need to go check the user reviews now for
or Phantom Hourglass or Spirit Tracks. All those rubbish DS games. Or Link Between Worlds. That was a good one. Or when the original
Tears of the Kingdom's user score is 8.1. So it's positive, obviously. It's high, but it is... I would have thought that'd just be a night. There is of the 9,758 ratings that it has on Metacritic, 7,455 are positive, and sure you expect that. 724 are mixed, 1,579 are negative, and I reckon there's a 4, 3, 1. This game is not even a 5. The graphics are terrible. Hurt my eyes even after adjusting my TV and Nintendo Switch settings. Wait for it to go on sale if it ever does. 5 minutes into it and you'll see why. It does look funnish, but the graphics kill it. Hopefully they approve my refund.
Hang on.
1 out of 10.
Did you say wait for it to go on sale?
Yeah, which is the other
which never happens.
Yeah, Nintendo doesn't discount their games.
Unless you
very simple and boring game. The history is so predictable and mediocre. The history? What? The gameplay is repetitive. Health system is stupid and simple like the battle system. I just needed two or three attacks for all the game. I don't understand why this game is so overrated, and the graphics are so bad. There we go. There's a 0. I love Breath of the Wild. While it's a great game, it's not perfect, and Nintendo really had an opportunity to improve upon the foundation laid by Breath of the Wild with a direct sequel. Instead, they chose to play it safe and completely re-release Breath of the Wild as Tears of the Kingdom. I call this game copy-paste, find and replace. Here are just a few examples. And there's 16... Holy shit, this guy's written an essay.
Wow.
Anyway.
He's got the time and effort. That's... Mate, go find another game to play.
You've given it a 0 out of 10, but at least you tried to put something behind it. Let's double check this, because some of this might, especially if he's copy-paste, find and replace commenters, then us... Breath of the Wild haters are going to vibe with this. So let's see. The music is almost completely copy-pasted throughout the entire game. I think I noticed 5 new themes while playing. I don't know, we haven't played it yet.
Jeez, I'm glad he hasn't played a Yakuza game then, because he'd be really upset if that's the case.
Ascend Rune is just Rivali's Gale, but now it goes through solid matter. Sure, I mean, I know this is the mechanic they're talking about, but whatever. The Time Rune no longer freezes time, but moves time backwards slowly. Okay.
Great.
You wake up in a shrine with 0 powers. Welcome to all video games that are sequels ever. Direct sequels ever. God of War 2. He's literally the God of War at the end of the first game. So they stripped him of his powers, so you could actually... Otherwise, he's just Superman through this thing. Dumbass. Anyway. You start on the Great Area and can't leave until you gain 4 base powers. Zelda is missing for some reason. Zelda's... Okay, you've really let us down here.
Whoa, hang on, buddy. Have you played Majora's Mask? There was no sighted of Zelda at all.
You have to collect stupid Korok seeds. Maybe you didn't love Breath of the Wild, champ, because a lot of the things you're complaining about were 100% there in Breath of the Wild.
Those seeds were in Breath of the Wild as well, and I myself didn't even try that. Just like, oh, you need 17 seeds for this one slot. And I'm like, oh, piss off, would you?
It's interesting that his whole thing is this copy paste find and replace thing, and then a whole lot, I mean, there's a few things that are the same, but then a whole lot of the things he's complained about are the things that are different. Like, I hate that it's all copied and pasted. Here's a bunch of things I don't like, and they're all the things that make the game different. You have to complete dungeons, for example. You have to remove corruption within each race's region. Like, yeah, anyway.
Oh, hey, there's dungeons now. Oh, no. That's what people wanted in the last one, you fool. I'm taking the guess that person has never played another Zelda game before Breath of the Wild, because he would have been very upset.
47 out of 91 users found this review helpful, apparently.
Of course they would.
But anyway, that's kind of we've bloated this one out, I think. That's, I guess, Tears of the Kingdom's user reviews, and we'll wait and see how that compares to Starfield and Spider-Man, and then we'll toss Baldur's Gate in there with its 97 Metacritic score later on as well, just for good measure. But yeah, any other thoughts at all?
No.
All right, let's wrap it up. Just go play the game. Stop being an asshole online about it.
Go play a goddamn game.
Yeah.
And stop writing essays about things for no reason whatsoever.
Exactly. Well, if you enjoyed this episode of Patch, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Visit the website, player2.net.au. We're on Patreon, patreon.com/player2au, where you can kick it a few bucks and get early access to a whole range of stuff. And then finally, there's Twitter/X. Matto.
Matto_Phil.
Paul James Games for myself. The website is player2au. Go check out a whole bunch of awesome content on the YouTube channel. There's a whole bunch of recommended stuff that you should be seeing. There's short reviews and all sorts of things we've been doing lately. So go check out some of that stuff.
And see
Thanks
what's in the Starfield box in a box. In a box.
Box, inside a box, inside a box. There's a watch.
Inside a box.
Thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you later.